Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Smash Up Disney Edition. This is designed by Sean Flesher and Paul Peterson and is published by The Op.
Alright, so you may have heard of Smash Up before. This is more Smash Up. It's a standalone version of the game. This one features all Disney characters, and all different Disney movies and Disney scenarios. All that kinds of stuff is going on here. So basically the idea is, you've got two different factions, two different groups, two different movies in this case, and you're going to smash them together and make one deck out of them. One deck that you're going to play against somebody else who smashed up their ideas, and you're going to play against each other. This is all Disney characters, like I mentioned. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how it works. Alright, when you're setting up to play Smash Up, the first thing you want to do is you want to choose your factions. So what I chose Aladdin, as well as Big Hero 6. So those are the two I've matched up together here. I'm going to shuffle my two decks together. Each faction also comes with these bases. These bases are what we're trying to take over with our factions. So each one of these factions has what's called a breaking point. This one here is 24. So we've got a little marker on the outside track here showing 24, and what the power currently is at right now. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build power up on these tracks to get to that breaking point, and when that happens, when these bases break, we're going to just get points based off this chart here. Whoever contributed the most power is going to get 4, whoever has contributed the second most gets 2, and whoever contributed the third most is going to get 1. You use as many bases as you have players plus 1, so we're set up for a 2-player game here basically. Each one of the bases also has some kind of a power or ability, some kind of manipulation effect that it has as well. For instance, this one here says, the Robotics Lab says, characters here that have power counters on them have an additional +1 power. That probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you right now, but it will in just a moment. Alright, so we're going to shuffle your two decks together, and then you're going to draw a hand of 5 cards. After you have your hand of 5 cards, you're going to be able to do two things. You're going to be able to play one character, and you're going to be able to play one action from your hand. As far as strategy goes, you can try to be everywhere at once, or you can try to really buckle down on one. For this small example, let's just kind of all work with this one that's close here. So for our character, we're going to put down Jasmine. Jasmine has a power of 4, so we're going to move this up to 4. And it also says, discard an action to play an extra action. So if we wanted to play a couple extra actions this turn, we could discard a card from our hand in order to kind of trigger additional actions that we can play. And now for our action, we're going to play this card here that says, it's an upgrade. Place a total of 2 +1 power counters on your characters, and then play an extra action. So from our tokens here, we're going to add a couple of +1s. So now we're at 6. But also remember what our base said. Characters here that have power counters on them have an additional +1 power. So really, now we're at 7. Also, our upgrade card gave us an extra action. So in addition to that, we can play another action. This one says Team Effort. It says choose a base. Draw a card for each of your characters there with power counters. So right now it's only 1, but let's say if we play it later on, there might be a whole lot more characters of ours there. We'll be able to draw a lot of cards by playing that one card. That's really all there is to the game. Every turn you're going to play one character and one action. You're going to follow whatever the effects of them are. And you're going to try to get as much power on these bases as possible in order to get them to break. And again, if you have the most power when they break on the particular locations, you're going to get the most amount of points. The other players are going to be playing on these bases as well. Their totals are going to add on to the total as well, and they're going to be marked on various sides of the board. So if we're playing it where player C is, and we have player B, A, and D over there as well. So each one of these is kind of marked off by character player. That way it's clear who's played each of the cards. We're going to keep on going until one player has collected 15 of the victory points. Once they've done that, they are declared the winner. This particular box came with 8 different factions, and on the back of the rulebook it kind of explains kind of the theme of each one of them, a little bit of strategy tips, as well as kind of how complex they are. If it's like a really difficult to use one or kind of easier one to use. You kind of use that to your advantage in order to make the best possible combos for your team.
So this is like a really minor thing, but I still appreciate it. I like all the token counters and how they go on the board and the characters. It makes it really easy every round to figure out where all of the different like strongholds are, to figure out what's happening there. And I know it's such like, obviously a game should have that, but they don't always have that. So I really like it when they make the bookkeeping super easy for me and that they're double-sided to go for that or tier points. Really simple. Yes, a game should have it, but I just really, I really appreciate it when they have something like that to make the bookkeeping easier for me.
This game is endlessly combinable. There's so much variability in this game. Even just this standalone box by itself, there's just a lot of different combinations you can make and explore. But obviously, all this is going to be able to be mixed into the other versions of Smash Up as well. So if you've already got some versions of Smash Up, put this right in, boom, you've got even that many more combinations. It's literally endless how many different pairings that you can make with this game. You're never going to play the same game twice.
And the character abilities make sense to the characters. So, like, most people are familiar with the lineup of Disney characters that are in this game. And what they do just makes sense, like how Mufasa can get you better things when he's in your discard pile.
Because he died.
He does. And, like, things happen when Beauty and... when
The Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, when Belle and the Beast are together, like, better things happen. And so that makes a lot of sense thematically, and that's always nice when a game does that, because then it's easier to understand and it's easier to learn when the character abilities reflect what you know of that character. Your brain just, like, melds it together, and you're like, well, obviously, what else would they do? So I thought they did a really good job of blending what the different factions did, what the different characters did, to what they were in the worlds that we're familiar with them with.
Now, when you have all these different, factions, they all do different things. They have different things thematically, mechanically. They all focus on different areas and do different things. It's very easy to have a random setup be completely unbalanced, either really, really weak or really, really, really strong. And, of course, that happens in a game like this, especially with all the factions over many, many years. But self-contained within this box, I felt like all the factions were pretty well balanced. Yeah. They all worked together or worked against each other really nicely, I felt like. So, obviously, there are those combos that are going to happen that makes you just that much stronger and pull ahead. But overall, as far as balancing, this is about as dang good of a job as you can do balancing this many factions.
We were probably within a round of each other.
Almost every time we played.
So that's a really good sign to having something balanced like that. With all of that said, this just really isn't my kind of game. Like, this isn't something that I'm going to want to play. It's not something I'm going to ask for. With that said, I totally understand how this game is as popular as it is, how this game is talked about as much as it is, how many people play this game as often as they do. I get it. Like, sometimes you play games and you don't like it and you don't get it. This just isn't my style, but I can separate this not being my style from it still being a great game that people are going to like. Not my thing. If you agree with a lot of the stuff that I like, you might not like this one, but, like, it's still super solid, and I understand why it's talked about so much.
Yeah, straight up, Smash Up is an institution in the gaming world.
Yeah.
It is straight up, it has been there for a long time. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yes.
Obviously, picking up new IPs such as Disney and Marvel, this thing's not going anywhere anytime soon. And the thing is, this is a great family game, too. It's not, I see a lot of college kids talk about it, a lot of people in their 20s. It's a family weight game, and I think this is a great way for families to jump off. If you've never played Smash Up before in your life, and you want a jumping off point, you're like, I don't know where to start. There's so much out there. This is where you start. This is it right here. You've got familiar characters, you've got clear text, you've got clear factions, how they work together, how they work against each other. It's just a great jumping off point. If you are already a seasoned Smash Up player, you're going to love that too. So I think no matter what, the Smash Up Disney Edition is going to be a hit. Like I said, maybe it's not your style, if you don't like that dueling card games kind of thing, this might not be your thing. But if you've played any other Smash Up or heard about it and want to know how to get more into it, this is a great jumping off point.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can follow us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.